Man ra'ani fil manami, that the one who sees me in a dream, then certainly he has seen me. Right? فَقَدْ رَآنِي, he has seen me. Yani a person, when he sees Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a dream, he has this intuition, he has this feeling that this is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Right? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying that certainly he has seen me, there's no doubt in it. Right? Why? فَإِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ, because the shaitan, Iblis, he cannot come in the form of my form. Yani he can't take my form. Right? What happens? Sometimes a person, right, he sees Rasulullah, he's confused if it's Rasulullah in a dream or not. Right? The answer to that is that was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why can't shaitan come in the form of Rasulullah? Because Rasulullah is a figure of guidance. Rahmatan lil alamin, hudan lil alamin. He's a figure of guidance. Shaitan is what? A figure of misguidance. Now if shaitan were to come in the form of Rasulullah, confusion. So that's why it's impossible for shaitan to come in the form of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a dream. Sometimes you come across situations where a person might see Rasulullah other than what is described of Rasulullah. Right? For example, we have the Shama'il. Sahaba, they quoted the physical attributes, characteristics, how Rasulullah's eyes were, how his hair was. A person, like for example, Rasulullah didn't have that many white hairs. Majority of his hair was black. Now a person might see Rasulullah in different situation or different color hair. Right? Now that, you have to go to those people who interpret dreams. That's another situation. But the story over here, the crux is that you can see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in your dream. Right, now how do we increase our chances in this? Right, first and foremost, I'll try to mention some steps, inshallah. But before that, they give like a disclaimer, and I want to give like a note that every action we do is only for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Right, so I'm going to mention some points on how we can increase our chances in seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our dreams. But every action that we do is only for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not that, oh, I'm doing this action so that I can increase my chances in seeing Rasulullah. That's secondary. Our primary purpose is for the sake of Allah. Right? So for example, the steps that I mentioned, those should be only for the sake of Allah. And seeing Rasulullah in our dreams is a bonus. Right? If it happens, alhamdulillah. If it doesn't happen, our purpose should not be revolved around only seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just like our jobs. We have specific occupations. We work from this time to this time. That is what's meant. That is what's required from us. If we get a bonus, alhamdulillah. If we don't get a bonus, we don't quit. We don't get angry. Right? But a bonus is what? Something extra. So these actions that I'm going to mention, we should always, number one, have ikhlasun niyyah. Right? Have the intention that this is only for the sake of Allah. Yani, if we inculcate these actions into our life, even though we don't get the opportunity to see Rasulullah in our dreams, that doesn't mean we stop the actions. The least is that we will develop the love of Rasulullah in our hearts. Right? So how do we increase our chances? First point is loving Rasulullah. Simple. How can we claim to be an ashiq? How can we claim to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam if we don't love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And how do we gain the love of Rasulullah? Reading the sirat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. By reading the life, what sacrifices he went through, what sacrifices he did for mankind, for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Even the day he was born, the night he was born, there were so many miracles that took place just during his birthday. The day that he was born, what happened? The night he was born, right, in Persia, they had a temple, a Zoroastrian temple. Zoroastrians are, they say in Persian, I think Urdu people also say it, Atish Parast. Atish Parast is what? Fire worshippers. So Zoroastrians, they had in their temple a flame, they called it a divine flame, a holy flame, that was lit in their temple for thousands of years. It was there. And they used to go worship it, right? They were fire worshippers. That was their holiest flame, fire. That was their holiest place, maqam. The night Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, that flame was extinguished. Right? That flame was extinguished. A flame which was going for thousands of years, the night Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, the flame was no more. And they try to inquire, something has happened. Yani, this was Allah signifying the haqq has come to overpower the batil. This was the haqq that had come, the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to overcome the batil. Right? You had also Kisra, who was the ruler of Persia during that time, the Persian ruler. His palace consisted of 14 pillars. The night Rasulullah was born, all 14 palace pillars were gone, destroyed. And these 14 pillars signified something in their religion. Every single pillar was destroyed the night Rasulullah was born. This was the beloved right? The Sahaba, they gave their lives for Rasulullah. We have to gain the love of Rasulullah. In order for us to gain the love, we have to read the life of Rasulullah, right? And that's how we will understand the sacrifices he went through, the persecutions, the trials that Rasulullah faced was for the ummah of Rasulullah, was for this very nation, right? Alongside gaining the love is implementing the sunnah of Rasulullah, right? Al-mar'u ma'a man ahab. This narration of Rasulullah, when the Sahaba heard it, when the Sahaba heard this narration, Anas narrates, we were never happier until we heard this narration. Yani, we were the happiest when we heard this narration, and that is what? Man will be with whom he loves on the day of judgment. You love Rasulullah, Allah Ta'ala will resurrect you with Rasulullah on the day of judgment. How do you know you love Rasulullah? You see yourself emulating, you see yourself including, practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah. Our whole life is in line with the teachings of Rasulullah. The way we conduct our actions, the way we do our ibadah, the way we have our family affairs, everything is learned and taught, and we practice the sunnah of Rasulullah. If we have love for the dunya, we have love for certain individuals, whoever they may be, al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. You will be resurrected with those groups of individuals who you possessed love for. Right? You follow certain groups of individuals, Allah will resurrect you with those people on the day of judgment. Right? Allah protect us from being resurrected from those who are from the hellfire, right? So this is how we gain the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number one, reading the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number two, when we start reading the seerah of the life, we start developing the sunnah of Rasulullah. Right? Not many of us know how important it is. I'll give you one example. Miswak. Right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions as-siwaku madharatun lil-fami maradatun lil-rab. Just a miswak. Right, over here we hear toothbrush, right? Going up here, everything's a toothbrush. Nothing wrong with the toothbrush. Brush your teeth, but miswak also is something where Rasulullah indicated towards the fact, number one, as-siwaku matharatun lil-fam. It's a means of cleanliness for your mouth. Number two, maradatun lil-rab. A simple action using the miswak is a means of gaining maradat, the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. A simple action gains the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. The miswak itself, scholars mention over 70 virtues of the miswak. Number one, I'm not going to go all 70 right now. Number one, it got scared. Some people got scared. Number one, it increases memory. Number two, it increases intellect. Number three, it gives you the tawfiq to say the kalima la ilaha illallah when you're passing away. On your last pangs of death, a person who used the miswak, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? It's emotional. Right before he passed away, he saw Aisha radiallahu anha, and his head was on her shoulder area, and he saw her miswak, and one of the last actions that Rasulullah performed was the miswak. This was how important Rasulullah considered the miswak. Then the third benefit is what? You get the tawfiq to say the kalima la ilaha illallah. The fourth benefit is it whitens your teeth, right? So you have free dental work going on for you, right? And number five is it removes phlegm. You know, some people, they have problem with phlegm. So this is just some of the benefits of using miswak. Right? Your salah, the reward for wudu, the reward for salah, all this is increased because of using miswak. One example of how we can implement the sunnah of Rasulullah in our life. You can probably purchase it downstairs, miswak, $5. That's a good investment right there, right? So that's number one, developing the love of Rasulullah. Second action that we can implement into our life, which will increase our chances of seeing Rasulullah, is durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Durood, salutations, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? There's so many virtues highlighting the significance of durood. Right? When you say salutations upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even this day, the salutation is taken to Rasulullah. Allah Ta'ala, the angels say, so and so is sending salutations upon you. Allah Ta'ala sends tenfold upon you. right? 10 intercessions in the morning, you say 10 sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the morning, 10 in the evening, you gain the intercession of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the day of judgment. Simple actions, right? Durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is what? Increasing the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You had a story of a student, right? He wanted to see Rasulullah in his dream, and he comes to his teacher, and he tells his teacher, he says, I want to see Rasulullah in my dream, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the teacher gives him certain du'as, durood that you can recite that will help you see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in your dream. So what happens, right? The next day, the student comes to the teacher, right? Right? What did you see in your dream? I didn't see anything in my dream, right? I didn't see anything. So the student's like confused. First night, second night, third night, and the student's getting worried. He says, I have these certain du'as that you're telling me to recite, but it's not working. The teacher goes, come, I invite you to my house for dinner. The teacher brings him to his house for dinner, gives him a dawah. And the teacher gives him food, and he says, no matter what, you can't drink water. And the food was, salt was put in the food. There was so much salt, and what happens when you eat salt, you get naturally what? Thirsty. So he put so much salt in the food, and the students was told, you can eat the food, but you can't touch water. Yani, eat the food, but don't touch water. So he goes to sleep. The next day, the student comes, and the teacher tells him, what did you see in your dream? And the student says, I saw water, I saw a beach, I saw waves, I saw rivers. And then the ustad started smiling, and he says, Dekho, you desired water because you wanted water, you saw what you wanted in your dream. Right? Your body had so much salt that you kept wanting water, but I prohibited you. I said, no water for you. You wanted water, what you wanted for came in your dream. Water, water, water. If you had the love of Rasulullah, if you sincerely wanted to see Rasulullah, he would have come to you in your dream as well. Being sincere in your actions. Right? So this is a story, right? Sometimes they mention this. So durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then the final action that we can do is reciting the Qasida Burda. Alright, so what's Qasida? What's Burda? What is this? Let's go back, we're what, 1444 this year? Let's go back 700 years. We're in the 7th century now. There was a scholar in Egypt, Alexandria, right, Iskandariya, by the name of Alam Busayri. Right? Alam Busayri was a scholar who loved Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He used to write ash'ar, poems, praising Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One day he's walking, and a man approaches him and says, have you seen Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in your dream or not? And Alam Busayri replied in the negative. I haven't seen Rasulullah in my dream sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Alam Busayri continued his life, and he was afflicted with such a disease which left half his body paralyzed. He went to the doctors, it was a stroke, and that stroke resulted in half his body being paralyzed. Doctors told him, ilaj niya, there's no cure for you, right? That's it. For the rest of your life, you're living paralyzed. Half your body is paralyzed. So Alam Busayri, what he does, he goes to the masjid. In the masjid, he's writing poems praising Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, couplets praising Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Right? In this state, he's crying, he's making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? It's just insan, right? You cry to Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? And as he's writing these couplets, these ash'ar in praise of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he comes to the last line. And a poem is not easy, you have to rhyme it. Right? It's not just whatever comes to your mind, you just write. You have to rhyme it, keep the grammar rules in mind. On the last line of his poem, Imam Busayri gets stuck. Imam Busayri, he gets stuck. How can I end it off? He's thinking, crying to Allah in this state, right? Asking Allah for a cure. Goes to sleep. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam visits him in his dream. Allahu Akbar. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam comes to him in his dream. He sees Rasulullah and he starts crying. He looks at himself saying that half my body is paralyzed. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam takes a burda, a cloak. Right? A cloak is what? It signifies a maqam. People nowadays, we see the people of the haram, they wear what? a cloak. This is signifying a person of status. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took a cloak, his own cloak, wiped it over Imam Busayri's body, right? And then after that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam completed the last line of his poem. And when Imam Busayri woke up, he was completely cured from his paralysis. And he wrote the last line, Qasida Burda. The poem, Qasida means poem, Burda of the cloak. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave him his cloak to Imam Busayri. And what is this poem? The one that we sometimes hear in nasheeds. Mawlaya salli wa sallim da'iman abadan ala habibika khayrul khalqi kullihim. That's the one. That's the Qasida Burda. The famous one that we hear, this is the whole story behind the Qasida Burda. After Imam Busayri woke up, he was walking, and a man comes to him. Right? This is the next day, so it's not like the poem is what? Publicized. And the man tells him, give me the poem of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Busayri is wondering, which one? I have written hundreds of poems praising Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The man says, the one where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave you the cloak. I was sitting next to you in the dream, and I also heard the whole situation take place. So this is how the poem came, and was people of the past, they had an ijazah, a sanad going back to Imam Busayri, linking you to Imam Busayri, that this is the poem designated in love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So scholars mention, right, it's not Quran and Hadith, but it's experience that an individual who recites the Qasida Burda in the nighttime, right, this increases the chances of seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream. Right? It increases your chances of seeing Rasulullah, the beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in your dream. Right? It's actually something to look at. Right? We go for a vacation, we go wherever it is, no problem. But we should also make intention of going to the graves of these individuals. I visited the grave of Imam Busayri. It's right by the Mediterranean Sea in Alexandria. And the whole masjid, the wall of the masjid, it has the whole Qasida Burda written in the walls of the masjid. Now imagine the feeling, the one who wrote the poem, the walls have the poem written, and you just sit there, right, in that masjid, where the person is buried, and you recite the Qasida Burda as well. It's an experience, right, that some people should desire and want to experience. So the Qasida Burda, right, increase your recitation in the Qasida Burda, right? It's a poem, and inshallah these steps: number one, loving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam; number two, durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Ghaznawi, those who know, Ghazni is where? Nowadays modern day Afghanistan. He was a scholar from Ghazni, so he used to recite the Qasida Burda in hopes of receiving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? He's reciting the Burda, it's not really happening, so he goes to his Ustad, and his Ustad says, increase your durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Increase your salutations upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he included durood as well, this is when he was blessed with seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dream. Right? This is something of the past, right? This is something that we want to emulate the righteous predecessors, gaining this maqam where we get to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our dream. Yes, when we see Rasulullah, that doesn't mean we become sahabi, right? But it's the closest we have to seeing the beautiful Mubarak face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Imam Bukhari, who hasn't heard Imam Bukhari's name? Everyone knows Imam Bukhari's name, right? The night he passed away, the day he passed away, there was a scholar living outside of his area, and the scholar, he saw Rasulullah, he saw Abu Bakr, and he saw Umar radiallahu anhu waiting by the doors of Bukhara. Imam Bukhari is from where? Bukhara, which is where? Modern day Samarkand, right? Uzbekistan, the area. So he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam waiting by the gates of Bukhara in the dream. And he inquires, Ya Rasulullah, who are you waiting for? And he says, I'm waiting for my beloved Imam Bukhari, rahmatullahi alayhi. This was the maqam these giants held, right? Imagine, we want to see Rasulullah. Imagine in a dream, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is waiting to openly accept you, and accept you as a beloved, a friend of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? So may Allah give us tawfiq to gain the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May Allah give us tawfiq to see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If not in our dreams, at least on the day of judgment, we are welcome with open hands from the beloved sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Right? Where we're able to drink from the beloved hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, from the pond, right? The Hawd al-Kawthar, where we drink from. Once a person drinks from that Hawd, that's it. There's no more thirst for him. He will never experience any more thirst till the abada, right? When you're in Jannah, خالدين فيها أبدا. You will never experience any more thirst. It's just extra, whatever you want, right? So, and may Allah give us tawfiq to have istiqamah. Durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, learning about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and if you want to get specific, Qasida Burda. Right? Qasida Burda, you put it on Google, you can find it, right? They have English translations available. Yeah, they have English translations available, inshallah. So may Allah give us tawfiq to resurrect us with those who are with the companions and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the day of judgment. To akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فيا أيها الناس وحدوا الله، فإن التوحيد رأس الطاعات، واتقوا الله فإن التقوى ملاك الحسنات، وعليكم بالسنة فإن السنة تهدي إلى الإطاعة، ومن أطاع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى، وإياكم البدعة فإن البدعة تهدي إلى المعصية، ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل وغوى. وعليكم بالصدق فإن الصدق ينجي والكذب يهلك، وعليكم بالإحسان فإن الله يحب المحسنين، ولا تتبعوا الدنيا فتكونوا من الخاسرين، ألا وإن نفسا لن تموت حتى تستكمل رزقها، فاتقوا الله وأجملوا في الطلب وتوكلوا عليه فإن الله يحب المتوكلين. ودعوه فإن ربكم مجيب الداعين، واستغفروه يمددكم بأموال وبنين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخلين. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم، ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من صلى وصام. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من قاد وقام. وصل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكة المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأهم وأكبر، فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروني ولا تكفرون. أقيموا الصلاة إن شاء الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Stretch your line, fill up the gap, shoulder to shoulder. Turn off your cell phone. Jazakallahu khairah. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawm Ad-Din. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى. ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد يفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Subhan is name. Is this on? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers and sisters, please, our volunteers are coming around, so please donate generously and put something in the box, inshallah, to help out the center. Inshallah, we have our Muslim Center Junior High School has opened. Admissions is open for the school year 2022-2023 for the pre-K to 8th grade students. The Sunday Islamic School has started and registration is still ongoing, so please, inshallah, bring your children so they can get a good, some basic Islamic education. Please, again, we say this many times, please don't bring any waste paper, used clothes, old books and things like that. We really don't have any place to really put that or, distribute that. So please, inshallah, just keep that for yourselves or distribute it someplace else. So inshallah, we have some people who have requested dua, shifa for the sick. We have dua shifa. We're going to ask for Brother Javed, Brother Shirwani, Brother Shamsi Ali Bey, Musharraf Ali and Mirza and Umar Draz. Also, some brothers have requested shifa for Zaki Ahmad, Sister Ufat, Sister Aftabal, and Imran Ali. Inshallah. Also, we have some boxes out there, as you may have seen, for the Pakistan Relief Fund. So, inshallah, if you can put some funds for that, that would be, inshallah, go a long way to helping your brothers and sisters. So, inshallah, yeah, the Sunday school is ongoing. We mentioned that. Registration is still going on. So I ask Brother Hafiz to make a dua, inshallah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من شر نفسنا وشر كل دابة أنت آخذ بناصيتها إن ربنا على صراط مستقيم. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا وشفاء من كل داء. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى جميع المسلمين. اللهم اشفهم شفاء كاملا عاجلا. اللهم اغفر موتانا وموتى المسلمين. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر الاسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك واغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.